Hello and welcome to Learn channel. My name is Teuta and I will be your host for today's episode. Fast-paced changes urge companies to develop the ability to change their strategic direction faster. Not only they need to align project with strategy, but also align project with resources. As the new decade is unfolding, companies are seeing a greater need to keep their portfolio management practices up to date. Is it possible to be successful in a company without portfolio management? Is a question we will discuss in our show with the expert trainer, Najera. He has trained more than 5,000 students in methodologies, professional certification, and related project management skills. He has more than 20 years of experience in project management, consulting, and training in different sectors internationally, participating in social innovation projects of the European Commission as an evaluator. Angel, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Okay, my pleasure. I'm very happy to be here and to have the opportunity to discuss this interesting topic.
Let's start off with understanding what company strategic portfolio management consists of.
Well, I would say that portfolio management is a way a company organization decides how to invest or in what projects, initiatives they should invest their resources. As a matter of fact, a key thing about portfolio management is just to be able to prioritize, to identify the needs, and then to focus the efforts towards that objective, not just to be able that the organization achieves their strategic objectives.
Angel, what do you consider most important when implementing systemized portfolio management?
Well, I think there are so many things to consider. I think that a coffee for everyone approach is not appropriate. As a matter of fact, we need to understand perfectly the organization, the culture, the way that they make decisions, the governance structure, everything, so that we can tailor a specific way of implementing or designing just a specific portfolio strategy. Another, I think, very important critical thing to take into consideration is that we need a high management level commitment, so that we need like a champion, I could say a champion, that will influence the organization and that will defend the implementation to everyone, to the rest of the stakeholders.
And Angel, how portfolio implementation projects are implemented?
Well, I have been lucky about that because I have participated in many different implementations in different type of projects or even organizations. And I have discovered that, as I mentioned before, we can't do the same thing on every case. No? So we have to think about the best approach. Mainly, I have faced it in two different ways. The first one is as we have a project, more or less like that. We have a current situation, we have a desired one. And so what we do is just to create a plan, create a planning, with all the characteristics, artifacts, best practices that we can use when we manage a project or a program. And just we follow like that. No? But another approach is like, I would say, step-by-step approach. And it is when we start just facing this implementation and we identify the most important problems. And from that, we attack those problems and we solve them. And as long as we solve these first problems, we go step by step, like cleaning all these problems. And after between 3 or 6 months, we are able just to prepare a proper plan as the first approach. So the paramount thing here is tailoring and understanding, these specific characteristics of the project. Also, you have to be very agile. Today's this is critical if we want to be successful. We have to look for the feedback of the organization, or the feedback from the most relevant stakeholders, so that we are sure and we can assure that our effort and all the strategy is aligned with the necessities.
Can you tell us about the challenges that are faced in portfolio management?
Yeah, of course. I think that the most challenging thing is to make difficult decisions. I mean, when we are managing a portfolio or the projects initiatives of a company, it's difficult to decide to kill or to postpone projects. So this is something that we have to do if we want to be efficient. So in the main core of portfolio management, we need to identify which initiatives, projects, or programs, which components are the most important ones, so that we can focus all the resources on those projects. And so the thing is that if we want to do that, obviously, the rest of the initiatives, the rest of the components are not going to be so relevant. And sometimes we need to stop those projects. We need to terminate those projects. And this is something that in some organizations is a challenge, because from their culture, it's very difficult just to decide to stop these projects. Also, and regarding resources, another challenge is to manage shared resources or common resources, because normally the resources of a company are provided by the different departments, and if they don't know exactly the prioritization of the projects, of the initiatives, alongside with the operational effort, sometimes we can find ourselves in trouble, because that these resources are relocated without the permission, or without thinking about the value that these resources are providing to the organization. So a challenge is just to be able to have this global vision of the organization, to understand the system and how value is created in the project and also in the organization.
What recommendation would you give to companies that want to increase the efficiency of their resources using best portfolio management practices?
Yes, following my previous answer, I would say that prioritization is paramount. It's very important to understand where the value is for the organization. And so, because resources are not infinite, that is something that we have to assume, we have to acknowledge. So we have, as a company, as an organization, decide where we should put these resources. So we have to understand the whole thing as a system, like a value system, including our operationals, the operations, the business as usual, programs, projects, the portfolio. And so we have to be able to just to dedicate and to focus the resources on the areas where the value is most important, is delivered more intensively. So I think that is the thing that I would recommend, just to try to implement a prioritization structure, taking into account not only projects, program, but the whole system, including the business as usual.
Angel, can you tell us what are the most used strategic management frameworks, and are they useful at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I assure you that they are useful, because they guide us, they prevent us from reinventing the wheel, and so they also present us all the best practices that are absolutely useful for the day-to-day work and in the implementation. But we have to be aware that we can't use them as they are, because we need to tailor the methodologies, the approaches to the specific characteristics, as we have mentioned before. To name one, I would remark the PMI, the Project Management Institute standard from the States, where managing portfolios are described widely and very interestingly. And also, I will connect this with the PMO, the the management of organizations. This is another very interesting manual that PMI has just presented. Also, Axelos, the House of Prince 2, is very popular on this and has a manual, the Managing Successful Portfolios. And also, we can use this, we can complement this manual with the P3O. P3O is Project Program Portfolio Management Offices. And you know that there's a great connection between the strategic functions or services that the PMO can provide, and also, of course, the portfolio management. And just to end, I would say that PM Square from the European Commission has already launched a guide about managing a portfolio. So I think this is maybe something also interesting that would be nice just to take a look.
Anel, is it possible to achieve good results in the portfolio without an adequate level of maturity in project management?
Well, unlikely, I would say. In portfolio management, we say that we have to decide the right work, and portfolio and project management has to do with doing the work right. So if we want to implement a strategy, even though we have been able to make a good design, we have understood all the necessities, everything, but if the components that should provide those benefits they are not doing a good work, they don't have a good planning, the information that they provide is not accurate, that it is not possible just to make good decisions with that poor information. So from my perspective, I think that it is mandatory to work in parallel. At the same time that we are managing the portfolio, we also need to increase the level of maturity of the projects or the programs so that everything is more or less aligned.
How can organizations upskill their employees in order to achieve maturity and the required knowledge?
Well, we could think that the first thing is training. Education is a very good thing just to provide training on specific methodologies, guidance to all the practitioners, everyone involved in the implementation or the portfolio management. But I think that this is not enough. Because as a matter of fact, I would say that the culture, the behaviors are very important. The mindsets that we should have in the whole company. This is crucial. So from my perspective, is we need to somehow have a 3-7 perspective, a holistic perspective about how to spread, the philosophy, I would say, of prioritization, risk management, and all these things in the whole company.
And in your opinion, what are some of the future trends in portfolio management?
Well, I'm quite optimistic about the implementation of portfolio management or the future portfolio management. I think that the fact that organizations want to have control over the whole resources and to be able to decide where to put them so that they can maximize their benefits. This is something that it is very, very well perceived very positively by all the organizations. Regarding the trends of the future, I would say that it's very important technology. Is something that we have nowadays on our, in everything. And regarding portfolio management, the way that we can collect and then manage all the information is very important, so that decisions can be made at the right time, with the correct information. Another, I would say, very, very relevant topic that we have to keep in mind is just to be as agile and adaptive as possible. We are living in a very changing way, with very changing environment, with so many, I would say, zero passing situations that we haven't been able to identify. And so we need to be able to adapt those situations and do it quickly without disruption. But of course, we need to maintain the control, so that the control in the decisions. Finally, just to close this, I would say that risk management is also very important due to this uncertain environment in which we are living. It's very important to try to identify these threats and also opportunities that at the portfolio level can be identified and then take advantage.
Angel, I want to thank you for your insights and for being part of our show.
Well, thank you very much. Very happy to be here with you again.
I hope our viewers enjoyed this show, and we thank them for tuning in. Please make sure to follow our channels for our live events every day. You can drop us a message or a comment to suggest a topic of discussion, and we will cover it in one of our next episodes. If you'd like to watch more of our content, you can visit YouTube or Vimeo channels for more episodes. Until next time, stay tuned.